Do you think you'll ever be able to settle down and have a conversation and be friends with Kody and Robyn?
I maybe like I can still be very friendly with Kody. I never really had much of a relationship with Robyn. I don't I don't I don't have any hate or hard feelings or anything. I just don't really want to know them.
Yeah.
Hey besties, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. Do you remember a couple seasons ago when Kody and Janelle broke up and they were in that huge fight? And the fight happened at Janelle's old apartment, the apartment that Kody thought was too small and there wasn't space for him. The fight where he told her to tell the whole world that he was manipulating her and gaslighting her and mistreating her. I mean, we didn't really need him to do that because we watched it for years, right? And remember how during that season leading up to it, he was trying to get Janelle to act more like Robyn. Do you remember that? He was telling Janelle, like, I have someone in my life who is fundamentally loyal to me, and you can have the same relationship I have with her if you're fundamentally loyal to me. Meaning, do what I say, don't push back. I mean, Robyn does stand up for herself, but that's because Kody is a little bit whooped when it comes to what's going on with her lady bits. He is definitely a hooked little man. And so he wants everyone to conform and be like Robyn, let me be the man of the house, make your kids fall in line. What he didn't say was, when we have a disagreement about the kids, you listen to me. Because at the time, she wouldn't kick out two of her children, one who has now passed away, Garrison and Gabriel. But when he had the same fight with Robyn about Dayton, they kicked Dayton out and forced him to live in an RV on their driveway. I recognize that Suki has a job and she needs to ask questions, but I wish that we would stop trying to force questions about reconciliation. I wish we would stop asking these women if they can ever be friends with Kody. I know that when someone has kids with someone else, they are tied to them through that child for the rest of their lives. But once a child becomes an adult and an adult child has their own relationship with each individual parent, they really don't need to have that much of a relationship. Because if the child has a relationship with you, that's your relationship with the child. If they have a relationship with the other parent, that's their relationship with the other parent. But really, you don't have to cross paths unless there's like an event. And even at those events, like a wedding or a birthday or whatever, you still don't have to be friends. You don't have to talk. You don't have to interact at all. You can just be two different people in the same room. But what I think is odd is that we're continuing to ask these ladies if they want to be friends with Kody, if they want to have relationships with him. We're continuing to ask why they can't be friends with them. And I know this tell-all is not going to address Garrison's passing, but this was filmed in the fall of 2024. So this is filmed several months after Garrison's death. And if the death did help bring people's together and resolve some of their issues, you would think that Kody and Janelle could have maybe a more amicable relationship. But that's not what happened, right? We know that Kody didn't change. He didn't suddenly become a better father. He didn't suddenly care more about his kids. He certainly didn't go out of his way to ensure that Garrison's privacy was protected because he put it on the show. He certainly didn't take accountability for his role with the show and how the show was used as a way to abuse the kids that he felt were disobedient to him. I can't think of a more awful way to be in life. Is this if you were on a reality show, but you weren't on it anymore, but your parents were. And like your parents are on the show, and because they're your parents, they can speak about you at any time. And if they want to, they can bring up fights they have with you, regardless if you want to be a part of the show or not. And so for some of the kids, if they want to clear the air, they're almost forced to come on the show to clear the air. But then that makes everything worse because then it brings them more into the fold and it gives the dad more content to further abuse you. So it's like this cycle of constant bullying and yelling and screaming. It's like on a cycle, on a loop. And then the show goes on reruns and then they have clips on social media. I think in 50 years, they'll do a study at some point or soon. Maybe someone will do a study soon on the negative impacts of reality television shows, specifically drawn around families, and the negative impacts it has on children. Because I would have bet that all of the kids have trauma related to the show. So, with that in mind, Kody has put Janelle through hell. And now Suki wants to know if Janelle will speak to Kody. Check it out.
But if you can't sit there and talk to Robyn, just curious right now, is there a way you can give me any specific examples why you don't want to be friends with her?
Oh, I could sit and talk to them. That would be fine. Yeah. If it was all superficial, I would be fine. If we, I would talk to them. That's no big deal.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to be buddies with them or like go to lunch with them or.
Why can't you be friends? Why can't you be buddies?
Yeah.
Why couldn't you have a relationship with them again?
Could you imagine if Janelle was able to actually just be open and say what she felt? I think part of Janelle not wanting to answer these questions is obviously thinking about what she puts out into the world, how it's going to be regurgitated in the media, how her family members will see what she's saying. There's a lot of impacts to say anything when you say it publicly, impacts to a lot of people. And so when you say something and it could have a ripple effect on someone else, you're going to be a little bit more careful. Janelle, as far as I've been told, and I obviously have not interacted with her, but I know a lot of people that know Janelle. I have spoken to so many people that were around her in Flagstaff, some of her friends from Vegas, former members of, their church. And everyone unequivocally says that Janelle is literally one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. And she's very kind to people and she doesn't like to say anything that might hurt someone's feelings. And she's just a very mindful person about how she says things. She's careful. She's more calculated or thoughtful, I guess, not calculated, thoughtful about what she says. And so if you're vulnerable after the death of your son, you might not want to go into it too deep about why you don't want to be friends with Kody. I think Janelle in the previous seasons has made it pretty clear that she has nothing in common with Robyn. She doesn't really appreciate the way that Kody treated her kids. She has said repeatedly that she cannot have a relationship with Kody because of how he treated her kids and how he mistreated her kids and how he wanted everyone to be like Robyn. I do think that she's maybe a little disconnected in that maybe it's easier not to think about something, so you just don't think about it. Do you know what I mean? You know, when you have like an ex and they were so bad and awful and toxic that you don't even want to entertain the concept or thought about why you don't like them anymore. You're just like, I'm over it. I'm done. I don't want to think about this anymore. But then you have to because you're on a show. She might be at that stage where she's just like over it and done. And now that they're not in her life, she doesn't want to have to revisit why she's doesn't want them in her life. I think there could be a lot of questions that are asked in the tell-all that are more impactful than, do you want to be friends with Kody? I mean, I know it's going to be a good soundbite because we're going to get where she says that she doesn't. But at the same time, I mean, if you could focus your time and energy on questions that are less about could you ever be friends and more about things that happened that could get her to respond to a incident that occurred versus something that's in the future and a hypothetical. You know what I mean? I think everyone knows why Janelle doesn't want to be friends with them. I mean, would you? Would you want to be friends with a man that's bullied your children and bullied your kids and mistreated you and used you for money and degraded you and used you as credit for houses and then Janelle, who has constantly had to go, she's been wooed back by Kody several times. And I think for Janelle, the only way that she can get away from Kody is by being no contact. Some people you just have to be no contact with.
I don't need it. I don't want it. I'm not looking for it.
Is there a lack of trust? Is that why that both sides can't come together and have a deep friendship?
No,
and a deep love for each other and a deep sense of respect for each other?
I really just don't like them. I don't want to know them. I don't want to be friends with them. I just don't like them.
So she said it. I just don't like them. Don't like Kody and Robyn. At the end of the episode of Tell All number 1, Janelle made a point of saying that Kody has taken on this character of being a villain and taking the blame for behavior and actions of his wife, Robyn. So he has taken on her bad behavior and the things that she's done to the family, like creating the COVID rules or creating fights between Kody and the kids or, creating disconnect or division or pitting people against each other, right? Kody does it too, but Kody claims that he's the one that makes the rules. Cody's the one that dictates what's happening. Cody's the one that did all of these did all of these things, right? And the biggest fight they had that ultimately was one of the breaking points in their relationship had to do with the rules that Kody made related to COVID, which really were just a smokescreen because ultimately he didn't follow those rules anyway. And they knew that. They knew that. And those rules were made by Robyn, 100% made by Robyn. And everyone knew that Robyn was the one that made them. And Kody lied over and over and over again and said that they were his rules. Really, they were rules made by Robyn because it was for her to be able to, control things, control the family, control people. When it came to the, text exchange and dealing with Christmas and Robyn trying to pull rank and make everyone do something that she wanted them to do. Think of that fight that they had over the text exchange about Christmas and the gift exchange that they did. And Robyn got mad because she wanted everyone to immediately get on a Zoom call, meaning she wanted everyone to film and people didn't want to film. And because people didn't want to film, she got mad because Robyn is someone who claims to hate filming the show, but yet is directing everyone to do things on the show because that's how she fuels her shopping addiction. I mean, that's my opinion. And when they wouldn't follow what she wanted, she got mad at them and just said it was an effort and futility. So really something as minor as they couldn't do something immediately that Robyn wanted. And then Robyn created this whole story in her head. And then she pulled everyone away from everyone else because they didn't listen to her. They were being disrespectful. And then she called the kids and told the kids that they caused her trauma. So a woman who at the time was 44 years old was telling children that were children when she met. There wasn't a single one of the kids that she met when she was an adult that was an adult. Every one of Kody's children were minors when she met them. And adults don't get to be traumatized by children because they have to be the adult. And they can't be so sensitive to the behavior of what children do because children are minors and they don't have the capacity to think and have the executive function that you and I have as adults. They're still developing, their brain is still developing, and their frontal lobe is developing, which controls their impulses, emotions, and behaviors. And so if you are being traumatized by the child, it's your fault, not the kid's fault. But Robyn doesn't ever take responsibility. And so Kody takes all of that on himself, right? And then he says he's the one that's doing it all. And so then he needs to protect Robyn from the trauma that she had from his kids. What? Basically, Robyn makes him feel like everyone hates her and she needs to be protected from the big bad bullies. And Robyn has made Kody believe everyone's a bully. And as Janelle has said in the end of last episode, he takes on what she does to protect Robyn so that everyone out here doesn't see what Robyn's doing, even though we totally see what Robyn's doing. He's taken on the role of villain to protect her. And that's not to say that he's not a villain in his own right. He's just adding another layer of being the villain for Robyn so that Robyn can keep being the victim. I don't know if it gets him a sense of like, if I cover for her, she'll cover for me kind of thing, you know what I mean? But if you know that the person that you were with, that was in your relationship with, Janelle, and you know that he can't be honest with you, and you know that you can't talk to him about what's happening in the family dynamic, because the family dynamic isn't about just two people, because other people are constantly influencing it. And when you have a plural relationship, you can never just say it's about the two people in the relationship, because all the other relationships impact every single relationship and they influence them. And Robyn's little fingers were in everything. I mean, Robyn's who drove the conflict to the breaking point between Kody and Garrison. She spent years on the show over and over and over again, mad that Garrison confronted her about the COVID rules and confronted her about hoarding the time, hoarding the money, and not allowing their dad to have a relationship with them. Kody is his own person. He doesn't have to listen to Robyn. But when you have dysfunctional marriages like Kody and Robyn do, they have a codependent relationship. They both feed off one another. Robyn is Kody's narcissistic supply. So she gives him all the energy, and she's constantly like stroking his ego. And so he's, of course, going to take her side. It's just Robyn says over and over and over again that all these relationships broke down because of the two people. It's really that the relationships broke down because Kody and Robyn were a unit, and they were always a unit, and they faked being a family for 15 years on the show, or 14 years, or however many seasons. And these wives were forced to play a lie for the show so Kody and Robyn could be the ones to benefit off their wealth that they were making on the show. And the rest of them had to have side hustles and work their asses off with MLMs or other ventures or other products or doing other jobs outside of this show to pay their bills, to cover their way, because Kody's income and the show income was going all the direction of Kody and Robyn. So there's so many reasons why she wouldn't like them. How can you even have a conversation with two people that refuse to take accountability, that one of them is always covering for the other, and because they're both playing deflection games constantly, how can you even have a trusting relationship with them? You can't. You can't trust them to do anything. You cannot trust them to be there for you. You can't trust that he'll be a good father. You can't trust that he'll be a good partner. You can't trust his word. And you certainly can't trust that anything that you tell him will be in confidence, because he'll go back to Robyn, who will spin it into making herself the victim of every situation. God, Kody and Robyn's relationship must be so exhausting. So really, she doesn't like them, and we really know why. And that's why. And that's the soundbite you guys get. And apparently, Janelle's going to go into more detail about Kody playing the villain. So we'll hear more about it this week. Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed, and click the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, guys.